Hello everyone, I am Sai Yadav and you are watching to my channel on YouTube Chemical Engineer. So in this video I will be discussing about the mass transfer, that is drying. So I hope you all know some basic of what is drying. So without wasting much time, let's start the video. Before starting the video I would ask you to join or to subscribe our channel Chemical Engineer. So thank you for subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed it now, subscribe it now. So let us begin with the simplest definition. What is drying? Okay, so removal of moisture from wet solid or a solution or a gas is known as drying. So basically we need to remove water. Moisture is mainly a water. So removing of moisture from a wet solid, a solution or a gas is known as drying. This is the basic definition. So for examples, drying of leather. So in leather industry we know that leathers are first get wetted and then the water is dried, or the substance that is dried. Then the example next is soap bars. So we know the making of soap, we have two methods, dry method or the wet method. So from both the methods the final stage is drying of the soap. Next is the sugar industries, and then the milk powder. I hope you know what is milk. Okay, so drying of a milk gives milk powder, so that is also example of drying. So what is the basic principle? How do we dry them? So there are two methods, that is direct contact drying and other is the indirect contact drying. So generally we use a hot gas for drying the solid substance or the wet solid or the solution. So we use hot gas. Hot gas may be used as direct or indirect contact. So phenomena. So there are basically two phenomena that are important to remember while doing the operation drying. Okay, so drying is also a unit operation because here is I. So drying is a unit operation because here we are changing some phase, because we are removing water from a solid, hence it is a unit operation. So the basic two phenomena, that is energy and heat transfer, are must to be remembered for drying. Moreover, mass transfer is the basic for the drying. So is it necessary to dry everything which contains moisture? So the answer is no, because drying is not an ideal process. So we know that there are other processes of removing moisture, but drying is not an ideal process because drying does not always gives 100% efficiency. I repeat, drying always not give 100% efficiency. So the maximum efficiency ranges from 95 to 98%, but it is not 100% efficient. There may be a traces of moisture after drying, so drying is not always an option. Okay, so principle of drying. Okay, so for liquid solid separation we have two steps. First step is mechanical separation, that is we know that crushing, then compressing, that all steps are included in the step 1, that is mechanical separation. Then in order to separate liquid from solid or solid from liquid, the step 2 is drying. So this is where we know that drying is important. So for getting the greater efficiency for liquid solid separation, step 1 is mechanical separation and step 2 is drying. So we can say drying is a backup process. that is used to remove moisture. Okay, so there are many questions. First is difference between drying and evaporation. I give you 1 minute, think about it, or the pause the video. Okay, so always remember that the basic difference between drying and evaporation is, in drying the final product is solid. Always remember that in drying the final product is solid, while in evaporation, so for example of evaporation we can take benzene and water. So at 85 to 90 degrees Celsius benzene will start evaporating, but water will not evaporate. Hence the final product is benzene and water, both are in liquid state. But mostly for drying we remove moisture from solid, so final product is a dry solid. Okay, so physical mechanism of drying. So remember the basic principles of mass transfer and heat transfer that we have already discussed in previous video. So those all principles are applicable in drying. So what happens when we start drying? So this is given that when a moist solid is heated to an appropriate temperature. So I have one question. What should be the appropriate temperature for drying? So I think you have think about it. So answer is above 100 degrees Celsius, because always we remove moisture, and moisture is nothing but a water or something mixed with the water, so it does not affect much to the boiling point. Hence the most appropriate answer is appropriate temperature is greater than 100 degrees Celsius. So when a moist solid is heated at an appropriate temperature, moisture vaporizes, that is moisture vaporizes. So first of all, the moisture that vaporizes is at or near the surface. Always remember that mass transfer is both surface or bulk process, but drying is a surface process, so only drying occurs at the surface. So when a hot gas is passed through a bar of a solid containing moisture, mass transfer of between a hot gas and a moisture takes place at the surface. So at the surface the mass transfer takes place, and so drying also takes place. So how drying occurs? So there are different theories how drying occurs. So first theory is, or the basic theory we should remember is, when a hot gas passes through the top of the surface of the wet solid, the top surface layer gets dried first, and this top layer, as the top layer gets dried, moisture inside the solid surface start moving towards the top surface where the moisture is removed, and so this is the basic force or the driving force for drying. Okay, so this is the phenomena of drying. So moisture transfer depends on type of solid, pore structure and rate of drying. Yes, so that's what I was discussing. So there are basically different phenomena of moisture transport. So first is by the capillary force. Capillarity, I hope you all know what is capillarity. If you don't know, you can watch the video that is at the top in information. Then the second phenomena is liquid diffusion. I hope you all know diffusion. I have already discussed in the previous videos. Next is the pressure induced transport. That is, we apply the pressure so that moisture transfer from the higher moisture concentration to lower moisture concentration part. And fourth phenomena is vapor diffusion. Vapor diffusion is nothing but the vapor starts diffusing as an liquid diffusion. So all four mechanisms are present, but this mechanism present works according to the nature of solid, its pore structure and rate of drying. Okay, so this is the diagram that shows the driving force, that is how driving force happens, or how capillarity effect we can say happen. So stages, these are three stages of drying. So in first stage the solid is fully wet. Okay, so in this stage solid is wet, fully wet. Now when we start passing a drying or hot gas, see here, this top surface is dried. You can see there is an empty space. Look here, this is the water and here it is missing. So this shows that the top surface is dried, or the moisture from the top surface is removed from the solid. So this B part shows the upper region is partly dry. Now after some time you will observe this diagram. So in this diagram it is clearly visible that the subsequent parts of water are removed from the wet solid. So the third part shows that the upper region of solid is dry. Okay, so this is basic phenomena. So I was discussing about capillarity. So the capillarity depends on the pore size. Smaller the pore, smaller will be the diffusion, or we can say smaller will be the mass transfer of moisture. Hence larger the pore, more will be the moisture removal. So if we have granular or porous solid, so moisture transports more due to the capillary force. Next we have colloidal, gelatinous or water affinity material having a solid, then moisture transport is due to the molecular diffusion in liquid. Okay, so this is all about how drying takes place. Now what are the resistance to the drying? Suppose we want to dry a solid, so what are the things that are stopping us, or what are the resistances that are present so that drying rate reduces? So first is the resistance to liquid or vapor transport inside a solid. So there may be a small porous material. So in a small porous material it is not easy for the moisture to pass through, hence it works as a resistance. So this is about resistance to liquid or vapor transport inside a solid. So inside a solid the resistance is pores, or the pore diameter, or the pore size. Second is the resistance to convective mass transfer of vapor from the surface of solid to the bulk gas. So suppose we have a wet solid, hot gases are passing above it. Now we can also say that the surface of the solid is densely packed, or we can say it does not have any pore. So that also plays a secondary resistance. If it is having no pores, no moisture can pass through it, and so it acts as a resistance. Third is the resistance to convective heat transfer from bulk of the drying gas to the solid surface. So bulk of a drying gas to the solid surface, so there may be a resistance which is happening due to the heat transfer coefficients. So due to the heat transfer coefficient there may not be possible for heat to pass through the surface, and so drying rate decreases. So it is also a resistance. We can say, suppose a substance having the less heat transfer coefficient, so the dry gas that passes above it may have less impact, hence drying rate reduces. So it is also a resistance to the drying. So because the solid temperature rises during drying, a conduction heat transfer resistance also become important. Yes, so that is what I have discussed. So basic, now for chemical engineers, the basic definition you should always remember about drying. So first is the moisture content. So moisture content is nothing but okay, so we define it as X. X is defined as a moisture content. So X equal to kg of moisture, that is the kg of water, divided by kg of dry solid. Okay, so kg of moisture divided by kg of dry solid is defined as a moisture content. We have different methods to show this equation. So we can also have X equal to, okay, so let me clear this. Dry solid is a bone dry solid. What is mean by bone dry solid? So bone dry solid is a solid which is having a moisture 0%. Okay, so this is a bone dry solid having a moisture 0%. We can also define this as in terms of kg of water divided by kg of moisture divided by kg of wet solid. Okay, so these two are the interpretation from the moisture content. Okay, yes, here it is already mentioned that it can also be expressed as a mass fraction. That is, it is generally a mass fraction, that is kg by kg is mass fraction. Moreover, we will discuss about moisture content and how can we derive it for different cases in the next video. Okay, so next equation is bound moisture. So the amount of moisture in a solid that exerts a vapor pressure less than the normal vapor pressure of a water at given temperature is called bound moisture. So bound moisture is what? A moisture that exerts a vapor pressure less than the normal vapor pressure of water. So this moisture can't be removed. Okay, so this is why, that's why it is called as bound moisture, because you know vapor pressure is less than the normal vapor pressure of water. Hence, as the vapor pressure of water is higher, there may not be a formation of vapor during in this wet solid, and so this moisture can't be removed, and so it is called as bound moisture. Next is the unbound moisture. The amount of moisture in a wet solid in excess to the bound moisture, that is which we can remove. Vapor pressure, it exerts a vapor pressure equal to that of water at a given temperature. Hence when the vapor pressure, so I hope you are getting it, what is vapor pressure. So vapor pressure is a pressure of a vapor that are formed during heating on the top of the solid or liquid. So this is the vapor pressure. Okay, so this vapor pressure, so for drying we need to remove moisture, and in order to remove moisture we require some minimum pressure. That pressure is the vapor pressure, that is the pressure at which moisture becomes vapor and then gets mixed with the hot gas and pass through. So that is minimum pressure that is required. So if the pressure is less than that vapor pressure, no moisture can be removed from the solid. But if that pressure is equal to or greater than that of the water, we can remove that moisture from the wet solid. So that is unbound moisture. we have the third term, that is the equilibrium moisture. So the moisture content in solid that can remain in equilibrium with the drying medium of a given relative humidity at given temperature. So humidity is a different topic, we will discuss in the subsequent lectures. So the moisture that is in equilibrium. So in equilibrium there is no transfer of moisture. So moisture remains at the surface. There is no transfer of moisture from, or there is no transfer of moisture from a hot gas, or there is no mass transfer or moisture transfer from a wet solid. So the moisture that can remain in equilibrium with a drying medium, or we can say the moisture which is at the surface is constantly or vaporizing constant at a constant rate. So that moisture content is the equilibrium moisture. Next is the free moisture. The moisture in a wet solid in excess of equilibrium moisture. So we know that we can relate this to bound moisture and equilibrium moisture, and this to unbound moisture and free moisture. So the free moisture is the only moisture that is unbound, which can be removed by drying under the given set of conditions. So I hope you are clear with all 5 definitions. If you have any doubt, you can ask me or comment in the comment section of video. Okay, so we are done with the basics of drying. In the next video we will be doing the numerical methods, or we will discuss the drying equilibrium. Before that, let me give you a glimpse of what or the how are the different types of dryers and their working. So dryers are differentiated into 2 parts, that are direct heat dryers and indirect heat dryers. Now both direct heat dryers and indirect heat dryers have 2 parts, batch drying and continuous drying. So first we will discuss about direct heat dryers. In batch drying we have tray dryer, truck dryer, then through circulation dryer and fluidized bed dryer. So in this batch process we have tray dryers, truck dryer, through circulation dryer and fluidized bed dryer. While in continuous we have belt dryer, rotary dryer, tunnel dryer and a flash dryer. Flash dryer is of course a complicated process, so we will not be discussing it here. We will just see the glimpse of some of these dryers. So in direct heat dryers we use the direct contact of gas to the solid. Okay, so direct contact of a gas and solid takes place in direct heat dryers, while in indirect heat dryers there is no direct contact between the gas and the solid, hot gas and the solid. Indirect heat dryers we have screw wet dryers, through trough dryers, drum dryer, steam tube rotary dryer, etc. We are not going to see all those because they are important, but for this video we are not going to discuss it. So this is a typical diagram of a tray dryer. So this is different trays that are present. So on those trays there is a feed. Okay, so suppose this is the top tray and here it is a feed, or the feed is the wet solid. So we pass fresh air inside through the trays and then take it out. So here is a steam coil. This is where the hot or the air gets hot. So when fresh air passes through a steam coil, it gets warmer, and then due to the fan it passes through different trays. There are look in this diagram, there are lowers or the spaces between 2 trays for a gas to pass. So when this gas enters through these trays, the mass transfer, as we discussed, are takes place. So this lowers is nothing but used to increase the efficiency. We will discuss about lowers in the discussion of the we can say that cooling towers. Okay, so this is how a tray dryer takes mass transfer of drying takes place in a tray dryer. Okay, next is the tunnel truck dryer. So this is a simple or basic diagram, same as the tray dryer, but here we have different arrangement of trays, but here also the direct contact takes place. Look, so here we have the good diagram. So here we have wet solid on a tray. Now this drying gas goes in. Okay, so these are moving, I think so. I have not seen those dryers in any industries, but I believe that they are moving. I mean gas is moving, or gas pass through the different series or parallel arrangements. Okay, so this is how truck dryer works. Next is a continuous through circulation dryer. So this is simple as a belt conveyor. Here we have different arrangement of fans at the top. Now the feed, that is the wet solid, is passed through this conveyor, and here we have three zones, that is air up, air down and cooler zone. So in zone 1 we have two fans at the bottom. So these fans pass the air from the bottom so that the trapped moisture can be removed from the bottom. Next step is the zone 2, that is air down zone. In air down zone, fans are mounted at the top, and those fans passes air from the top to the bottom so that the moisture that is at the top surface gets flocculated or gets separated from that solid. Third is the cooler zone, that is a fan or a cooler is placed which allows the hot solid to get cooled down, and then we can get the final product. So this is all the basic operations. So that is why this basic operation, they may not be 100% efficient. So this is a diagram of through circulation dryer. So this is a twin dryer system. We have two drums, those are steam heated drums. Twin drum dryer is an example of twin drum dryer. Okay, so this is example of indirect continuous drying system. So this, look here, so here there is no direct contact between a solid or the drying gas with the feed. So here we have steam in the two drum that are rotating, and the feed passes through them. So it is like a jaw crusher or something like a roll crusher type arrangement. So here we have feed passing through a roller, and this wet solid comes in contact of a steam drums, from where the moisture gets vaporized and can be removed. This is what the twin drum dryers. We have co-current spray dryers. So we can also have co-current or counter current spray dryers. In spray dryers we have nothing but a simple arrangement of spraying a hot gas and a feed so that this moisture gets separated from it. This is a simple diagram, everyone should understand it. So this is all about this video. In next video I will be discussing about drying equilibria, drying rate curve and calculation of cross current drying. So also I will discuss about the derivation of the drying for different cases. and drying rate curve is the obvious part of this. Okay, so thank you for watching the video. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.